So I got to thinking yesterday, I had told you guys about the emotional intelligence, and then I failed to tell you the most important thing about the things that you need to do for emotional intelligence. So I got to thinking about it, and like, what do you do? How do you find out what you're good at, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are? Hello. You ask people, right? So I remember this old job I was at. I put together 5 questions. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I need to improve on? What do you think I do really well? Things like that. And I sent it to all of my peer leaders, and it was incredible how some of the things that they said I was really good at were also my weaknesses. So that helped me to be a bit more self-aware. The other thing that actually kept me up last night, I could not go to sleep, was about self-regulation. How do you keep yourself from crying in the boardroom? How do you not go off on someone when they're just totally making you crazy? How do you actually stop yourself from feeling those emotions? We are emotional beings. That it's almost impossible. I mean, for me, it seemed impossible. And again, for any of you that have actually worked with me, I have shared many a tear in a meeting, in a group setting. And, in some cases, it could be a good thing, showing that vulnerability, allowing others to tap into their emotions. But, when you're in a meeting with the board or venture capital companies, like, they don't care about your tears. They don't care about your crying. They don't care about your emotions. Just got to keep it together and do what you got to do. So how do you do that? How do you actually do it? So for me, what I do is, you can almost feel that rumbling up inside of you, right? You can feel it in your stomach or the pit of your chest, or you can feel it in your fingers and your toes, or your face gets real hot. You definitely will have this physical reaction to the emotions that you're feeling. So as soon as that comes on, breathe. Take a moment. Just take it in. Just breathe. Just feel the feelings, right? Sometimes you can't help it. Tear might come out. You might get red. You might have a little bit of an attitude when you're talking. But the more you practice doing that outside of the boardroom, outside of the meetings, more on a personal level, you'll just get better at it. So when I talked about practicing, that's what I'm talking about. You have to be able to recognize and feel that within yourself. I'm telling you, I could not go to sleep last night thinking about, well, I told you to self-regulate, but how do you actually do it, right? I come from a very volatile background where you get loud when you talk to people, and that's just how we are, that's just me, that's just who I am. But that's just a lie I'm telling myself. It's not true. I am who I decide to be and how I decide to show up, right? So you can do that too. Motivation, right? That was another thing we talked about. So how do you keep yourself motivated? For me, there's so many things out there, right? Love YouTube, lots of motivational speeches out there, lots of motivating, inspirational stories of the underdog or, the hero's journey. There are plenty of things that you can follow along with to, get inspired and get motivated. Finding people who are like you, who do what you do, who are trying to run a business, who are trying to operate a sales team, who are trying to keep people positive and motivated. Those people out there are doing what you do, and we can do it together. Empathy is another thing I was talking about with you. And how do you empathize with someone, right? That's just, you have to learn it. You have in a leadership role, it's just really something that you have to do. So listening is really an important part of that. Actively listening for understanding, listening for clarity, making sure that whatever it is that this person is saying to you, that you're not looking just to say, where can I interject? When is it my turn? And then when you do, it's not, oh, I'm so sorry for you. Let's not offer pity. Let's offer, real empathy. That sucks. Sounds like you're going through a really tough time. Those types of things really, really set you apart from other leaders. And then obviously social skills, right? The small talk. Some people are, the queens of small talk. When you're in an elevator with someone and you've got about 10 stories to go, are you making small talk? Are you talking to people? Are you building relationships? That can definitely be a skill that's worked on. And, do you have people in your life that you have deep relationships with that you can just engage in conversation and natural curiosity? So those are the things that are really going to set you apart and really make you a great leader. And again, just working on those couple of skills, looking for feedback from your peers, staying motivated, really being empathetic, regulating your emotions, and then of course, being the queen of, or king of social skills. There's just so much to learn, and let's do it together.